AITA for hiding a huge inheritance from my husband?
I, 31F, inherited $500,000 last year when my grandmother passed. She was the kind of woman who reused foil, kept cash in jam jars, and still built a fortune by buying index funds and never touching them. Her lawyer said the money was mine alone, not ours, and she'd left a note, "Keep a key you don't hand to anybody." I'd been with my husband Mark, 33 Mame, for 7 years, married 4. He's fun and kind, but said with love, terrible with money. In our 20s, he financed a project car and sold it at a loss. During lockdown, he tried options trading because a podcast promised free money. After marriage, we set rules: equal contributions to the joint account, separate fund money, no purchases over $500 without talking. Even then, I covered overdrafts and quietly paid a card once. He isn't abusive, just convinced future him will solve everything. When the inheritance hit, I didn't buy a thing. I opened a brokerage in my maiden name, parked most in low-cost funds, and hid the rest in high-yield savings labeled, "Do not touch." A CPA and attorney told me in our state inheritances, stay separate if you don't commingle. Once you pour it into the joint account or pay joint debt, it's us money forever. Grandma's note echoed in my head, and I decided to keep it separate until we had a plan. By plan, I meant therapy to fix our money dynamic, a post-nut protecting the principal, and clear ways it could help our life without turning me into an ATM. I remembered his 40-key microbrewery fantasy. He wasn't malicious, just dazzled. This inheritance felt like handing fireworks to someone who thinks fuses are optional. So I waited, hoping preparation would save us from one reckless conversation. I wasn't siphoning from our life. Our budget is transparent. We both deposit paychecks, mortgage, and utilities, auto pay, equal fund money. If anything, I cover holes when his fund becomes, oops, I never wanted to be his mom. His real one already calls him irresponsible while still buying him gadgets. Keeping the inheritance separate felt like the only way not to end up his hall monitor. My plan: therapy first, disclosure second. I found a financial counselor and booked us. Mark agreed easily, he always does with big ideas. But in January, a brokerage envelope arrived with tax forms. Mark texted me a photo of a $1,099 DIV with my maiden name. What's this? He wasn't snooping, he always opens mail. My stomach dropped. I told him it was from a small account Grandma left me and that we'd talk when I got home. He replied, cool. For Mark, that means not cool. That night, he was polite to a fault. He asked how long I'd had an account. I said since Grandma died. He asked why I hadn't told him. I said because money history between us is complicated, and I wanted professional help before making choices we couldn't undo. I explained inheritances are separate property unless commingled, and I didn't want to blow that protection. He said, so you lied by omission. I said I was careful. He said careful felt secretive. We stared at cold pad thai. The air felt like a rake we'd stepped on. Complicated slid into suspicious fast. He asked how much. I said I wasn't comfortable giving a number yet. Grandma's note literally said, keep something safe. He snapped, I'm not anybody. I'm your husband. His voice shook. He asked to see the account. I said I'd show him after speaking with my CPA, because if I blurted the number would dominate. He asked if I'd used it. I said no. He asked if I planned to. I said, yes, repairs, parental leave, maybe travel but not toys or investments. He laughed once, harsh, and said, so you have a secret vault and a secret list. I reminded him inheritances are separate by law. He said marriage isn't a corporation, I'm not CFO. He left for a long shower. That week he was clipped. Not cruel, just careful, like filing every word. He started forwarding articles about financial infidelity. He asked if my vault had a P.O. box because of a key on my ring, it's for work. He combed through credit reports and found an old card in my maiden name. I stayed factual, soft. I offered a timeline, we'd meet the counselor, CPA, then decide. He said timelines were stalls. I said rushing meant burning money. He said maybe he deserved to pick the matches. I said I wouldn't be bullied into bad math. We went to bed angry and awake. The blow-up came next weekend. He came home tipsy from beers with friends, puffed up with their opinions. He said even Reddit thinks I'm cruel. Apparently he posted about me. He demanded we pay off his truck loan, set aside $50K for the brewery idea, and finally live a little. I said no to the truck, no to seed money, yes to a neutral plan. He snapped that marriage is partnership, not permission slips. I said partnership isn't a blank check. He slept on the couch, then left early. By noon my phone buzzed. His sister asked why I don't trust family. A friend joked about dragons guarding gold. His mother left a voicemail starting with sweetie and ending with lawyer. I called mine before she could. He reminded me inheritance stays separate if untouched. He advised moving my paycheck to my own account and documenting everything. I made a spreadsheet and a folder named Clarity. When Mark came home, I offered compromise, set monthly contributions from dividends for shared goals, house, kids, emergencies, but principal stays invested. I offered redacted statements until a postnup. He said redactions belong in court, not marriage. I said, that's why I want a plan, not shouting. He said my plan was insulting, that I valued dead people's wishes over him. I said I valued stability. He said he didn't want a warden. He packed a bag, went to his brother's, and posted, "When love equals control." My chest felt hollow. For clarity, I wasn't hoarding. My spreadsheet had a 5-year plan, new roof, new AC, maternity leave cushion, starter college fund, extra mortgage payments. Even penciled in a simple anniversary trip. I wanted security, not toys. I told Mark in therapy. He stared at the floor and said safety sounds like control when you don't hold the key. The therapist reframed, safety versus autonomy. She asked us to design rules. Mark texted me a heart, then skipped the next session and instead sent a Zillow link to a lake house to dream about. I didn't reply. His family escalated. His mom called to say, "In this family we share," which is funny coming from someone who billed me for wedding centerpieces. His sister subtweeted about women who treat rings like prenups. Friends sent him brewery proposals. Meanwhile, the AC gasped. The roof inspector warned about hail damage, and my job's leave policy was, "Good luck." All the boring reasons I wanted a plan screamed louder. I wrote compromise, post-nut protecting principal, fixed monthly dividend transfer to a joint sinking fund, redacted statements quarterly, budget review so neither plays hall monitor. If he wanted a passion project, we'd cap it after repairs. He read it and said it felt legalistic, cold. He asked me to admit I didn't trust him. I said trust is patterns. He said my pattern was secrecy, his was living. We stalemated. Then he crossed a line. He screenshot my spreadsheet and dropped it in our friends group chat with, "Guess I'm unlovable unless I'm unspendable." My phone exploded. Someone called me Scrooge McDuck. Someone joked I should fund their fishing trip. I felt exposed and humiliated. I told Mark if he ever weaponized my finances again, I'd separate everything. He apologized, tearful, but the screenshot existed. I moved my direct deposit to a solo account. In therapy, I asked for rules. What gets shared, when, and a 24-hour cool-off if flooded. Mark agreed in session, then texted that the new account made him feel like a roommate. I said, roommates don't share bodies, calendars, and fears. Partners do. And partners don't forward balance sheets to the peanut gallery. Here's where I may be, TA. I still haven't given him the number. I told him ranges, the plan, showed gross summaries redacted. He says secrecy hurts more than any amount. I believe the number would become a scoreboard he tries to spin down. He says that belief makes him the villain already. I say patterns matter. We're scheduled for another joint session and meeting with the CPA. I'm scared if I cave, I'll resent him forever. If I don't, he'll resent me. So AITA for keeping my inheritance separate and waiting for legal guardrails before disclosure? Update. 3 weeks later, we kept therapy. Mark finally met with the financial planner, hearing a neutral voice say, "Windfalls vanish without rules, hit differently." We drafted a postnup. Inheritance principle ring-fenced. Any withdrawal needs both signatures and a 2-week wait. We set a joint budget, not assuming inheritance exists. I offered dividends monthly for house medical baby. He asked for 20K for his truck. I refused. That's commingling. He left again. I sent him 3 options: sign postnup and keep building. Refuse and I separate finances fully and pause kids, or keep circling and I move out. 2 days later, he returned and said he'd sign if we each had a small dreams allocation. We wrote 3 yearly each. It felt human. Yesterday, we signed the postnup. Today, we scheduled roof and AC. We blocked his mom on group chat after she called it an insult to love. We're not fixed, but not falling apart. After signing, I finally told him the number. He cried, laughed, and said, "Okay, let's make this boring together."